I didn't even know there was a backup. That's one reason I'm like, yay, paying money for services is great. Because when Mob Crush was just like, yeah, we're doing whatever. All right, it's showing. All of them are bleeping online.
Woo.
All right. We are streaming out right now. We're just streaming or sharing all the links and stuff.
All right.
Cool. You have like a temporary screen starting soon.
Usually,
nope.
usually
Twitch was just straight up.
Yeah, usually I do. I just didn't put it. I forgot to put it on.
Cool.
I took my usual stream is the classic please stand by kind of screen from like the 50s.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. I just put like our Boards and Swords logo over the like weird Native American looking head that I've never been able to get an explanation as to why that was ever on there.
Huh. I don't have answers for you.
Yeah.
I just turned my bookshelf because it had a weird glare and it was driving me insane.
It's okay. Your camera still looks 10 times better than mine. So, but you've probably been doing you've been doing a lot of time on video more than I have, maybe.
Yeah, and this is the third setup so far.
I think
I like it the most.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of video, but with low quality stuff. I only recently got the Canon T5i this year.
Yeah, it's a good pickup for sure.
I realized the magic of used cameras. This whole time I was like, I gotta buy new stuff. Then I was like, I can get used cameras for like $300 to $400 cheaper.
Yeah, and it's really the lens you care about.
It came with the lens too.
Look at that. I got a used lens. I bought a lens. It was a 24 millimeter prime lens, like
nice
2.8 f-stop. And I got that at a used camera shop. I got that lens for, I want to say it was like $30 or $40. It was insanely
nice.
cheap, and it's so good. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to B&H. I went to their used thing. I was just browsing, and it was like $250 for the used T5i and a lens together. It was great.
Yeah.
And then I had so much luck with that. I found a local camera store that's like it's like an hour away, but they had used cameras, and my daughter's been doing a bunch of. She goes to thrift stores and gets clothing that's getting like thrown out, and then resells it online on like Depop and those types of websites.
Yeah.
So she's been doing a lot of photos, and so I made a business investment in her and bought her the T5 because they had one of those for like $150, $200. And so it was like,
nice. Yeah.
Here, now I know everything pretty much your camera does. It just doesn't have the flippy out screen, which I need, but you don't need.
And that's fair.
So
the last camera I had did not have that, and I didn't realize how much I would miss it.
Oh, after having done so much like video from my phone, like spending so much time doing video from my phone, and like this tiny little Kodak camera I had that only didn't have a back-facing screen, and then like afterwards you look at the video and like, crap, I'm like like 2 centimeters or like an inch of my head's cut off or whatever. I was like, nope, flip around screen, gotta have it.
Yeah, it's very, very helpful. Yeah, I had the Nikon D3100 or 3200. I don't remember which one. And it had the back screen, but it didn't flip out. And like there were so many instances where I was just like, oh, especially doing stuff like this, where if I want to see what my camera sees, I have to go to the other side of the table. And same as you, I have a light set up that's right in the walkway, so I have to move the light every time I walk around the table.
Yep.
It's like, oh, this is not gonna work.
All right, I forgot to share it on Facebook.
Sharing on Facebook. I should probably do that too. I'm slower than most people at that. You would think I'm good at that part now, but nope. Not true.
There's crap on my phone and it's screwing up my my message or my typing.
You're like, why?
Okay, there we go. Hey, Phil, you're still on the Twitch, right?
Yep.
Do me a favor, just type something, even just the word something, into chat just so I can see, make sure that's up.
Yeah, because I would.
Okay. Yeah, I know if I say something, you're going to type something. Okay, cool.
Type a
Yeah, spell that.
Yeah, that's a hard one to spell. Sometimes I try to pronounce the gibberish that people type in, like on Twitter, when they're just like, rah, and I'm like, I wonder what that actually sounds like.
That sounds like a great idea for a series of TikToks where you just like take people's comments and like post, like, you know how some people, when they're replying to people's comments, they make TikToks about them. And then like you just post the comment and then it's just you pronouncing them, but it's like the pronouncing them poorly, dude.
Oh no, the pronouncing thing.
Yeah. That's my favorite.
That's like, yeah, pronouncing real words very incorrectly is so good. So good.
All right. You tested everything, Philip. So
I did.
Okay.
Buttons work.
Yeah.
Did you just delete the title in the show notes instead of changing the?
I didn't touch it.
Oh, well, you're in the block and it's empty now instead of it having the title, which is fine.
Oh,
it doesn't matter. Anyways, I think I'm ready. You ready? Everybody ready? All right.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Starting show in 3, 2, 1. Seriously? You did that on purpose. Thanks to everyone who supported our Patreon. If you want extra content, you need to go check out patreon.com/boardsandswords. Live from Swordplay Studios, it's time for Boards and Swords.
Normally Colin would go, yeah.
It's funny because it just like clipped you off like right as you like got louder. Welcome everyone to Boards and Swords. This is a podcast where we have fun talking about board games. It's bad jokes, good folks, and a little bit of gaming sometimes. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Chris Renshaw. I am here with my partner in crime, as always, Philip Herdbig. How's it going?
Hey there, everyone in the interwebs world.
But we're not alone.
We are.
I mean,
Is this like in the metaphysical sense, or like
we're never alone. But
you're never alone, Dave?
It's our off episode, so we've got a guest here. We've got Omari Akil from the Board Game Brothas.
Woo woo!
Yo, what's up?
Which is just like we just talked about. Godz was in our news segment last time, and I was like, I should just get him on the show.
Yes.
Hype. Yeah, look at that. Here I am.
Bottom line up front, the Kickstarter is still going on, but it's closing soon, I think, right?
Yeah, so as we're recording, we have just about a week left. So yeah, whenever the podcast drops, it'll probably be really close to end.
So we had to delay things a week. Normally this podcast would be going out yesterday. So it's either going to be out next Tuesday or before that, depending on if I get things edited. How long it takes me to edit things.
And we're going till the 20th. So yeah, anybody listening to the podcast, they'll have very limited time to get in on.
But
on
I'm sure afterwards there'll be like backer kits and stuff like that if people are listening.
Yeah,
to
we'll
this in
get
the
that
future.
going. It usually takes a little while, but of course we'll have ways for people to get the game. At least we might not have some of the same deals and stuff available, but you know how that works.
Yeah. All right. Before we will get back to talking about Hoop Godz in a second, but we've got our news first. There it goes. It's like I'm just waiting for stuff to happen. All right. I totally didn't even give Omari a prep as to what's going on. So
he's going in blind. Huh?
Yeah. Well, no, I could tell him and just cut this bit out later and just say that we'll do I'm going to have a couple news bits. We'll talk just kind of,
random shenanigans.
Random stuff going on, maybe gaming, maybe not. Then we'll get into talking about you guys and Hoop Godz, and then we'll finish up with a game show.
Love it. Let's go.
So, hey, do you like movies and board games? Well, now you can have a film-based board game with a little bit on the zombicide. Get it? Zombies on the side. Zombicide.
Groan.
Simon's Night of the Living Dead, a zombicide game, is officially launched to retailers. So if you missed out on the original Kickstarter, you can now get it. Normally I don't do official release stuff like this, but this is one that's it's one of those. This should have been the first game. It's one of those why did they wait till now? I guess probably because they worked so much with the Romero people that they finally got permission or whatever. But I originally panned this. It was just okay. I mean, that makes sense. But as I was writing the show notes, I was getting stuff I was looking at okay, what actually is different other than just a reskin? So it's got all the normal components and the boards that the normal zombicide games have, if you've seen any of the more recent ones. But the characters are double-sided, and they have a zombicide mode and then a Romero mode, which is the Romero side symbolizes the group being giving into their fears and the horrors kind of going on, and the zombicide portion is okay, well there's only one way to deal with this, and that's to go kick butt and do that sort of thing. But you can be in the zombicide mode until you see something horrible the shambling remains of one of your loved ones that causes you to flip into that Romero side.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I was that's pretty cool, and it's not just a skin. So that, like I said, that is now in news links in the show notes if you want to follow up on any of these. Next item. If you shoved a bunch of arcade machines into a truck, would you then be a Pac-Man? You can just queue up the groan for all of these, Philip.
There is no groan.
I know.
That was me.
I know.
We're gonna have to clip that out.
But they're making No, that's the Price is Right one. The womp 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 womp.
That's right. That one.
Yeah. There you go. So I found out this they're making a Pac-Man card game. Or it's coming out. And so this is like, the whole thing about this was weird. Like, I would imagine this if you saw this on a store, like in Target. Like, I would imagine this, like, you know, they make Minecraft-themed card games. I've seen this. But it was by Steamforged, of all people. The people that Steamforged, I'm trying to think of what else. Didn't they do, I think they did the, what was it? Dark Souls, I believe they did that. Like, they've done some pretty big stuff, and they do a bunch of like minis games. Like, they have a Blood Bowl.
Oh, yeah. They've got Dark Souls, Devil May Cry, Horizon Zero Dawn, the board game.
Yeah, like they've done some
Resident
pretty
Evil 2, the board game.
Yeah, they've done some pretty big stuff. Like, there's a Blood Bowl type. It's something bowl. I forgot what the name of the ball or like
Guild Ball.
Guild Ball. That's it.
Guild Ball.
That's right. I think that was their first big hit. But it's just someone that has that kind of pedigree, and it's like a Pac-Man game, a license. Okay. Would
you equate that to like Games Workshop licensing My Little Pony or something? As long as they wore armor and fought against.
Maybe. No, but that would be cool.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. Like some armored, like Games Workshop doing like a Warhammerized version of like My Little Pony. That would be great. But the goal of the Pac-Man, it's like $10, so it's super cheap. 2 to 8 players, it's like 5 to 25 minutes. You basically, it seems like it's a push your luck sort of game where you're like trying to play cards to score points before you get knocked out by like somebody playing like a ghost card. So
yeah.
Seems somewhat thematic, but it also seems like one of those like this is something this seems like the type of thing that you're going to end up in your stocking from somebody that's not a gamer. Like, oh, they like games. I'm going to get this Pac-Man game. It's so cheap. Or like if you got $10 that you need to put in your cart to get that $100 free shipping.
I would say that's for free shipping. I need $10 more.
I just go buy dice. That's Mikey. Dice and sleeves. That's my go-to.
Sleeves. Always more sleeves.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Hey, we were just talking about Blood Bowl. Hey, Philip.
Yo.
Do you want to play a game with some Halloween minis in it 2 weeks after the holiday? Well, now you pump can. So this week is when Games Workshop's releasing their Blood Bowl Season 2 big box. And the only reason this made the notes is if you go in the show notes and if you look at the minis are really cool because they're new teams. They're not the same, like we're just going to rebox the same teams. But they had a new team that was like Wolfenburg Crypt Stealers that had like werewolves and zombies and ghouls and like other creatures and like tombstone kind of standee or like mini things. All really something like you're like a month too late on this. Like this would have been perfect, like Halloween theme, but it seems like just such an afterthought.
Maybe they'll deliver exactly on Halloween next year.
It gets through customs and everything.
That could be. Well, is it discounted for like just like Halloween candy?
No. If anything, it's still, like marked up.
It's still full Games Workshop price.
Yeah. I think the big box is like $140.
Well, see, that's just how they need to market it. Be like, originally $200.
And then I think the individual teams are usually around 40 to 50, depending on how many there are. All right. So, almost done here. Thought that you could get through the holiday months without backing another Kickstarter? Well, sir, oh no, you don't. And that'll make sense in a sec, because it's Calliope Games is what I'm talking about now. They are going to be launching a Game Night Extravaganza Kickstarter starting Tuesday the 17th. So it'll probably be either the day this launches or the next coming Tuesday. It's funding 3 games that you can get for $40 total. Total for $40, you get 3 games. A game called Allegory, Enchanted Plumes, and Mass Transit. And they're all, it's all a whole bunch of different concepts and themes. They're all supposed to be seems like very family friendly and very easy to learn. They're supposed to all play in under an hour. Just when I scrolled through them, the Mass Transit one looked really cool to me because it seemed like it's a combination of like playing cards to make maps and roads of subway stops. As just from the picture, knowing nothing about how the game played, it reminded me of like a combo of Railroad Inc. and Suro, which I love both of those games. So I'm like, cool.
That's a solid combo.
I know, right? Like Suro is still one of my like all-time favorite games. Especially
I just saw that they had a VR version.
They do. I did not know. That's one of those games that's like Suro in VR. I mean, I'd play it, but it just seems like who thinks of these things?
Slightly weird choice, but I'm into it still.
I feel like that's the new thing. Everything is going.
Oh my gosh! So one of my friends posted this on Twitter while we're bringing up VR. Because they were talking about like what experience would you like to see as VR, and this guy responded, and it blew my mind. Like, why is this not a thing? A VR version where you pretend to be doing like the 5-minute supermarket sweepstakes thing from that Nickelodeon used to run, where you'd go through Toys R Us or KB Toys.
Oh,
like how awesome would that be?
Huh?
I would buy a VR set almost just to play that.
That would be a good game. Well, they are redoing the supermarket version of that show.
Yeah, they got what's her name? Who was in Ghostbusters?
Leslie something?
Leslie. It is Leslie.
She was on SNL and she was in Ghostbusters. I don't remember her last name. So,
if only there was
Leslie Jones.
Jones. There you go. The most common name, a common last name ever. I couldn't think of it.
That's why we forgot it.
But yeah, I saw that and I was just like, oh, I want this to be a thing now. All right. Last one, I promise. How can you tell that this last news story is from FFG? From Descent of the Cardboard. The newly announced Descent, Legends of the Dark, is the latest in the dungeon delving series from FFG. It's basically, if you ever thought, I wonder what it would be like if FFG made Gloomhaven, that's what this game is going to be. Like, it's like a cube. Like, you got the Calyx cube. It would only be this game. It's like a 12 by 12 by 12 box.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's going to have minis, terrain, including like 3D terrain minis is what they say. I don't know how much that means. Are we talking like
like trees? Yeah.
I don't know. Like, are we talking trees? Or are we talking like Hero Quest, where it's just the little like here's a table and here's a little store.
Hero Quest.
Yeah, I've begun using the furniture everywhere, even doors. This one is going to use a companion app, though, similar to what they've done for Mansions of Madness and other things. Although it's not a 3rd edition, they say. It's just the newest version of the game.
I do like how Omari just said that a 12 by 12 by 12 game box is huge. So I work for U-Haul. That's actually the smallest box we carry.
Yeah, but what do you put in that box? The heaviest stuff possible.
The heaviest stuff possible. Yes. So, yeah, you're right. 12 by 12 by 12. That's a big box for a game.
So there you go. That's your news. So, Philip. So is this the time for our Deep Rock Galactic update? I think
I need like one of those. What's the when the news would always break in? It'd be like the Morse code.
Oh, like
yeah. Last time on Deep Rock Galactic. Yeah, I mean, so like we just keep playing and keep playing.
But last time you had just gotten the
newest update.
The newest update, like right before, like you got off just to go play the newest update.
Yep. I mean, it's a lot of the menus are more streamlined, which was very helpful. They did some, weapon balancing, but you could still go back to the overpowered broken versions just I don't know. There was some weird stuff when I was reading all the patch notes, and I was like, okay, basically nothing changed. That's great.
That's like, I feel like some of those patch notes need a TLDR that's like basically nothing changed, but if you care about the precise details here, like World of Warcraft, where they'd be like, I'm trying to think,
the spelling of one of the words on this one mission menu was wrong. So we
Resurrection
fixed it.
costs 9.6 seconds instead of 9.7.
Yeah, like, one of the patch notes was, so we took the main weapon and we took this one mod you could apply to it, and the damage modifier on that, we actually chopped that in half, but we took that half and just added it to the base weapon anyway. So it's like, oh, okay.
So wait, it's like the same amount of damage?
Yeah, because it's one of the mods, like, I'm always going to get that mod anyway. So
weird.
You did...
I might have to play that now, though, because it's coming to Xbox Game Pass.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Dude, if we can get you in on a group with us, 4-man team.
We'll have to see, because like it says it's going to be cross-play, but cross-play with the PC Game Pass version, and I don't know if that's going to tie into Steam as well.
Okay.
Like, it seems like they could, but that's kind of up to the developer to kind of figure out.
Completely, yeah.
So... Omari, what about you? What have you been playing game-wise, or just anything super interesting? Video games, board games.
Well, video games, I'm kind of stuck on Hades right now. I haven't got out of that Switch mode for a while. It's basically always on when I turn it on. But I just got a Quest 2, so I am diving into VR just a tiny bit.
Were you one of the people that got it like a week before it launched?
No, definitely not.
Well, so
I just got it.
There was a fun story where like there was a Target mix-up or something where some retailer mixed up and released it like a week before it came out, like on their website or something, and someone did a video of them taking it into the store to return it just to see if they could. And so it's like they're like, we don't know what this is, and he's like, I got the receipt here, it says I bought it from you.
Yeah, what do you mean? Yeah, that's been interesting. I only really got a chance to play it like one afternoon. And I played Beat Saber and a table tennis game that I think it's called 11, because you go to 11 points. And that was it. It was super fun though. So
nice.
Whenever I get some time to get back into it, I'll be full on VR. It's a weird experience so far.
At this point, I'm just going to assume that every VR kit comes with Beat Saber, because I feel like it should, because that's like the first game everybody gets.
And
that's the one that gets like streamed the most.
Yeah. Well, it's because it's one of the ones that's easiest to show being streamed. Some of those games don't exactly lend well to being streamed.
Super Hot might.
Yeah.
That's another. I think that has been streamed a lot.
The one warning I would give to anyone in VR is limit the play area it lets you set up. Because my dumbass decided to make it as big as the room would allow me. So then I'm playing Super Hot, and I look over. I was so immersed. I'm like, yeah, I'm in this world. This is great. I look over and I see like some boxes or a table. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to fall over and I'm going to land on that table, and then I'll still be able to get the guy. There was no table in the real world. The table was only in the headset. But the people I was playing in their house, they were like, whatever like the current smallest measurable amount of distance, I don't know, go with nanometers.
Yeah.
That's like you were nanometers from smacking your head against our entertainment center.
Wow.
I'm still in the camp of like, I know PS5's just around the corner, but I still want to buy a PSVR just to play like Star Wars Squadrons with it. Yes. I haven't played it. I haven't gotten it. Like I've seen all the stuff with Hades, and I've seen all the stuff with the Star Wars Squadron, but I still have got games that like I just bought and haven't finished. Like my dumb ass has been behind, and I just now got the Marvel Spider-Man, the original one, not like the Miles Morales one. So I'm still working my way through that.
I mean, I feel like I wonder how many people actually buy a game, finish the game, and then buy a new game.
Well, it's not. I'm not saying
I'm not like that would be a great poll to put out there. But like, how many games did you buy? And you're like, yes, this game is awesome, and you're only like 47% of the way done.
That'd be like asking board gamers, do you ever buy a game? How many still in shrink wrap games do you own before you buy a new game?
Hey, Chris, how many still in shrink wrap games do you own? Counts.
2. Usually I unshrink wrap them and punch them pretty quickly, mainly because I'll take pictures for like the Instagram and stuff.
Right.
Unplayed, there's still quite a lot. There's one game though, that Amber Route game that I keep bringing up, still in that pile from like 2016, 2015. Never played because my wife wanted to play it. My wife heard I think we were listening to the Secret Cabal. My wife heard them talking about it. I'm like, that game sounds really cool. You should get it. So I like threw it in on a Cool Stuff Inc. order, and then she forgot about it. I forgot about it. She doesn't really play as many games with me anymore, so it just sits. And then like for the most part, any review games always get played before games I buy myself. Like as a general rule. The only caveat to that is FFG games. It goes FFG games, review games, and then it goes games I buy for myself. So,
all right.
Marcus is in the chat room. He says the last thing he played was Streets of Rage 4, and then don't ask about the Shelf of Shame. Yeah, that's like the we don't talk about it.
Nobody wants to talk about it.
No. I did just buy.
I did just receive the newest Kickstarter for the Power Rangers.
Oh,
game.
You got it in?
Yes.
Whoa.
Oh man, that was the Psycho Rangers one, right?
Yes, the Rise of the Psycho Rangers. Not necessarily big box expansion, but main expansion.
Right.
So it came with foot soldiers and location board.
Did it come with the Space Rangers?
It did. It did come with the Space Rangers.
Nice.
I will have to say, I did not open it, and I need to open it very quickly because a lot of people are noticing manufacturing defects. And so I don't know if I want to like become one of the people overwhelming Renegade's customer service, or should I just like give it a couple months and be like, hey guys, so I got it, and it is kind of busted. Now that all the early adopters got out of the way.
Right, exactly. I bought a new, speaking of Blood Bowl, I just bought a set of the Dark Elf team. I had played them on the that's the great thing about Blood Bowl is you can try out any team by just playing the Steam or the PS4 version. And so I really liked the way that they play. Like they're still very nimble, but they're still very bashy, where I'm just like, by the end of the game, you're only going to have 3 people left on the field. But I bought it not because I have an inkling to play Blood Bowl, but I bought the Blitz Bowl because Blood Bowl's kind of a really long game. And I was really curious to try out Blitz Bowl, and I could use those minis with Blitz Bowl. And so I was like, haha, I can still...
Success.
Yeah. And I need another thing to distract me from finishing painting my board games.
Oh, painting is so hard. I've only started on painting minis for one game, and I'm only like 20% done.
That's what I did. I started with one game. I started with Zombicide Black Plague. Note to self, or note just out there, don't start a board game painting hobby with a CMON Kickstarter, because unless it's like the retail version, it's just the stuff in the box, because it's just like all these things of minis. It's like 200 something minis, and I here we are like 4 years later, and I'm almost done. I think I've got like 12 guys left.
So I shouldn't say that I was doing Arcadia quests and I kept buying expansions and kept getting more minis.
That's probably worse.
Yeah, it might be. I definitely
But that's a good
I
choice
started
because
with the regular box, and
yeah,
then I got the dragons and the inferno, and then I got riders, and
Next up is
I think
pets.
I didn't get pets.
oh
I didn't,
man,
actually. I was like, I didn't feel like the gameplay was as interesting as some of the other ones with pets. But I've heard different. I've heard it's way better than what was in my brain.
got
So
we
maybe I'll go back and
more
get
of like random buffs to your
Yeah.
hero, but still kind of cool. Yeah.
yeah.
it.
That's
Yeah.
we play. Arcadia Quest is one of our favorite games to play back and forth, and we definitely always play with the pets from now.
Yeah.
Just to get that
What-
little extra buff, extra
Favorite
die
game
of-
to play when we're willing to put it all back in the box when we're done.
Yeah,
No,
when we're in the mood. It's probably the one we
Yeah.
enjoy playing together the most. I'll say that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's probably fair.
It's in my top 5, 100%.
Oh yeah, it's in my
It's-
top 10. The
yeah.
only I think the amount of stuff and how much it takes to get out is the only thing that keeps it from going higher. Is just
Yeah,
because
it
it's
totally makes sense.
yeah.
talking
Every
about
time
painting.
I played it, I've had a blast though.
Oh,
Talking about painting, I definitely Renegade came out with a pre-painted deluxe
Yes,
Megazord figurine.
Yep. Did you back
Yeah,
it?
Ooh.
I definitely added that to the cart.
That's right. As soon as I saw that it was a custom painted one, I was like, Philip's getting this.
Like, yep, I'm gonna get that. I still have the blank one.
Yeah. So now you can practice with that because you don't have to
That's
worry about
right.
messing it up because you'll have a painted one.
I have a perfect template
Look
to go
at
off of
that.
too. I can- yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Or you could just do like a dark Megazord version and
Ooh.
just give it a whole different styling.
I've thought about that. Do like, Link versus Dark Link, have Megazord versus Dark Megazord. Yeah.
You could keep all the colors the same. Just do the kind of metal color, like the kind of grayish metal color. Just do that black, but keep all the other parts the same colors.
Oh, yeah.
Or take
Good
the
idea.
picture. Other idea. You take the picture, you put it into paint, and you do the inverse option where it inverts all the colors.
Oh,
You ever done that?
turn it into
That
like
would make my brain hurt.
turn it into the Negazord
Yeah.
instead of the Megazord.
Yeah, there you go. You could show that off at a convention if you did it right and just call it like the Negazord, and you'd probably get like mad props for that.
Probably, yeah.
when conventions are a thing again.
That's right. In 2025.
One day.
So
One day.
the thing I've been playing the most, I'm like so embarrassed to talk about just because of what it is, and that I have been so hooked on the freaking Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links app. It's unbelievable.
Huh.
That's unbelievable. Like, it's so stupid, but it's like it's the magic formula for what it takes for me to play. Like, I don't play a whole lot of mobile versions of board games.
Yeah.
Like, I will if I'm like spending a lot of time on the toilet, basically, or just if I'm waiting somewhere, or just if I'm just sitting in the chair relaxing for a long period of time, sure. But usually, like, if I'm on my phone, I'm doing something else. This game, it's that sweet spot of it uses the speed duel rules, which only take like 5 minutes to play.
Love
So
it.
you could bust a game out in like 5 minutes and then move on to something else. And B, I don't have to play against other people. So like with Hearthstone and all these like the Magic, I don't have to play against people. I could just kick butt against the CPUs all day and still unlock cards and build decks and all that stuff. So
That's great. This is me downloading that right now because you said that. I love Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Was the only trading card game I like really got into.
yeah.
I played Magic like very briefly. I played Pokemon maybe a little more, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Was the one that stuck with me for the longest.
So Yu-Gi-Oh's the one
So-
I've played the least out of all of them, but it's probably the one I know the most lore about just from watching the anime. Which
yeah,
that's
man.
that's the other thing about like I've never seen like any of the follow on like the GX and like 5DS or what all the other.
Oh yeah, me either.
I've not seen any of it, but the way the Duel Links app works is you can choose what world you're in, so you can be in just Yu-Gi-Oh world where it's all the regular show characters, or you can flip to like the GX world where you're playing with all those characters. And so like this is perfect. I can just stay in that one world and play that. And then maybe
Yeah,
occasionally.
you're telling me everything I want to hear. Keep going.
You just gotta log in every day because you get like free cards. Even if you don't play, just log in. You unlock like free cards.
Oh yeah, so
Amazing.
whoever does Duel Links, we need to clip this part of the video out and send it to them. Be like, this is your marketing right here.
It's so like every time I'm on it, and like my stepdaughter's over in the corner, just like, what are you doing? I'm like, playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and she's like, oh my god.
Duel.
I did the like dual barrel roll, and my wife was like, what? Like, I gotta.
What are you saying?
There's kind of a lot of things I gotta explain here. It's like a Yu-Gi-Oh and a Star Fox thing put together. You've never seen Yu-Gi-Oh, so you just wouldn't understand.
You don't understand me, Mom.
Okay. All right. I think everyone's heard enough of me talking about Yu-Gi-Oh. Let's talk Hoop Gods and Board Game Brothas. So,
Whoa, yeah.
the best place to start. You want to just tell us like how you came to start designing and making these games yourself, you with your company?
I mean, yeah, it was an accident. We just were sitting around playing games one day, and my brother asked me about because he's a huge hip hop head, and he just asked me, were there any like hip hop board games? Because we were playing all the games I had at the time. We probably played Pandemic, a little bit of Arcadia Quest. I think we did Eclipse, we did Suburbia.
All the
and
favorites.
we just playing all of my favorites. And this was like 5-6 years ago. There were way less to choose from, but still really good games. And he just mentioned it's like any hip-hop games, and I was like, I mean, I don't really know of any, but I was still new to the hobby,
Right.
and very quickly it was like, well, there's not much. So he was like, so we're gonna make one? I was like, yeah, I guess. And we just started talking about it that weekend, and got super into it. And it was like, oh man, this is so cool. This would be so great. And yeah, just he basically went home because I was living in North Carolina, and he went back to New Orleans, and then we talked about it a little bit more. We had a couple phone calls. I think we put together a spreadsheet, and I threw some numbers in there to try and like figure out how it was going to work. And like a week later, he just sends me a picture of a prototype. Like he had made the whole thing.
Jeez.
Yeah. And he was like he was like, I want to play it. How can we play it? I was like, well, yeah, I guess I'll come down there and we'll try it out. And that was it. And yeah, we just went from there. Decided we really liked the process and we're gonna do more. Decided to self-publish, which is another kind of tough decision that you have to make when you're thinking about designing games. And once we got there, it was just a matter of making it all legal and trademarking stuff and
all that business
doing a
admin
Kickstarter.
stuff.
Yeah. And doing the Kickstarter, I mean, that was a huge pain in a lot of ways because it was our first time, and we were doing a bigger game. Most people don't start on Kickstarter with a $25,000 goal,
right?
And we did, and we made it just barely. And the whole time we were like, yeah, I guess this is just what we're gonna do. We ended up working on a few more games, and Hoop Gods was one of them. So now we're here on game number 2.
That's kind of wild because it seemed like the kind of, at least my radar, who am I, but like that seemed to be when I first took notice of you guys is after the Kickstarter. It was like almost as soon as it wrapped up, that's when you really started hearing, especially between there. I started hearing a little bit, and then when people started getting the copies, then you really started. Yeah. That's when the attention really ramped up. So that's only got to be beneficial now going into the second Kickstarter.
It was hugely helpful. I mean, and it took us a long time to get that first game out because it was our first time through. We learned so much about the process, the manufacturing, and just creating and building all the assets necessary to manufacture a game. Going through that process and learning about shipping and distribution, it was so much mental overload for that year and a half trying to get the game out. And yeah, it was really nice to see the reception, and that was really the beginning of this year. Feels like a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
But they delivered January, and people started playing it, and it was like, oh wow, this is really cool. And everything kind of snowballed from there and we were able to get this game ready in a short period of time. We knew we were close, but it was like, all right, while things are good, while we're still kind of getting attention, let's go ahead and get this Kickstarter for Hoop Gods ready. And we pushed real hard to make that happen. Like a 4-month timeline, which
Oh yeah.
we probably did like 6 months of work in 4 months to reach to have Kickstarter ready for October 20th, 21st when we launch.
That's crazy. And
Yeah.
I haven't checked what the numbers is, but I don't think you're squeaking across the line this time.
No, definitely not. We funded on the first day.
Yeah.
I think we're at double our goal now. So we still have a week left. So who knows what's gonna happen?
So, but for those that have not heard of the game, obviously it's a basketball game. But you want to give us the elevator pitch?
Yeah, sure. So it's a 2-player head-to-head street basketball game. You are playing 3v3, and the game is really it's two things. It's a strategic game in the sense that you have to manage your energy in the with what's called the juice system, and that energy drives every action you do on the court. And you're managing it, and you have to rest in order to recover it, and you're watching how your players kind of using their energy so you can make smart moves and get advantages when you can. And then whenever you play cards against each other, whenever there's action on the court, somebody's trying to steal, you can counter with a crossover. What happens is you have to do a real-time dice battle to resolve that conflict.
Oh God.
And so you're going back and forth between this like strategic, trying to make the right moves, a little bit of chess, trying to figure out what your opponent is going to do next, and then this frantic real-time dice rolling to see who can match the symbols on the dice to the symbols on the cards faster in order to succeed in whatever card that they played. And yeah, it's really those two things mashed together into what I think is a really great game. Personally, I feel like we one-upped ourselves compared to Rap Gods. I think we got some in terms of theme, and I really say it because I feel like sports games are so much harder to just like capture and do right. And the fact that it feels like we actually did a good job in representing a fast-paced street basketball game, it really feels good to me.
So, and that is one thing. When I looked at the Kickstarter originally, and I was reading through and looking at it, my first kind of impression was this feels like the kind of game that Blood Bowl is for football. This feels like the basketball kind of equivalent. That same kind of almost. It's a very similar, at least just me reading over through the Kickstarter page. It does feel like that same style of game, but you're talking basketball instead of football. And granted, standees instead of miniatures, but still.
Yeah, and we do have a stretch goal for minis out there. If anybody's trying to push us across the line, they're gonna have to share the crap out of our Kickstarter.
You shouldn't have told me that.
As Chris's wallet cries out in pain.
Yeah, tell all your friends. We would love to have those, but it's at 100K. So we're gonna have to work very hard to hit that goal. But if you want a 3D print, we actually have a shorter stretch goal, and we'll actually create the molds or create the
models,
the builds, the 3D builds, and for people to 3D print themselves. So
hey Philip, did you know that
are out there?
Our local library will 3D print stuff for you?
I actually was aware of that. Yes.
Yeah, our local library has, you can upload files to them, and then it's just like a suggested donation of like to help us cover materials.
That's pretty fantastic,
Yeah.
actually.
No, I found that out and I was like, this is amazing.
Wow. Yeah, so hopefully we at least hit that stretch goal where people can 3D print their own, and that will be exciting in and of itself, because we've never worked with a 3D artist before, and right now we're working with HD Harris, and I think they're incredibly talented, and looking forward to hopefully getting to produce those with them.
So you're talking about Rap Gods. It made sense when you were just sitting there talking like, oh, is there a board game about rap? But what made you then go, for our second game, we should do basketball?
Well, we had a bunch of ideas, and it was really just stuff that we cared about, right? Like our first few ideas for games, it was like, we love hip hop, obviously. My brother is an artist, illustrator, who's deeply embedded in hip hop culture. So the next game we actually started working on was a graffiti game, because he does that style of art really well too. And then kind of the progression from there, it felt like sneakers, and very much tied to sports and basketball. My brother is a huge Jordan collector, or he's becoming one very quickly. So it was like it just felt like a natural extension. I mean, I grew up literally next door to a park, where there was a basketball court
and
that
no
had hoops
internet
sometimes,
and the internet
and
was
no
a thing.
internet.
Yeah.
No, it didn't exist. So yeah, it's just been we were just grabbing all the things that were parts of our lives, parts of our experience, and making games about them. And there's still quite a few more before we have to even stretch outside of our own experience. We still have 3 or 4 games probably we can make.
This is why, like, whenever people, this is like the biggest reason why I'm all like, when people talk about diversity in gaming, and I'm just like 100% yes, especially when it comes to creators, because when you complain about like, oh my gosh, another zombie game, or oh my gosh, another trading in the Mediterranean game, this is how you fix that. Is you get different people that are into different things, making things about games about the things that they love, instead of the same people making the same games with the same retired or old themes.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just that simple.
yeah. It's one, like, I keep seeing stuff, like I'll see news stuff for like Tokyo Game Fair, and like, oh, that would be cool to go see, because only a fraction of those games ever make it over this way.
Oh, I know. So few, yeah.
And like, there was that Kickstarter for, I forget it now. It was like I can't remember if it was funding games being made in Nigeria, or if it was funding like a convention in Nigeria. There may be just 2 separate Kickstarters I'm thinking about.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about the one that KC runs, I think that was for their first convention.
Right.
They did. I think it was called ABC, the African Board Game Convention, something like that.
Yeah, I thought there was a Kickstarter and Indiegogo to fund like some games that had been made over there as well.
It may have been games too, because they're running out of Nib Card Cafe is the board game cafe where they also design and manufacture games.
Oh my God.
Out of this one sort of organization. It's delightful to see the progress that is happening there, and those I think some awesome designers are going to come out of that.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. That was my point. It's just getting into the idea of just getting those people's, their brains working, and getting them interested in, game design is only going to help everybody. It seems kind of selfish, but it's helping everybody else with just, making better games for the hobby as a whole.
I mean, we all want cool games. That's why we're here.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's half the reason you like that. That's why you started, is like, I want this thing doesn't exist, so I'm going to make it.
There you go.
Wow. So what's been like the hard, so the second time around with the Kickstarter, what's been like the hardest thing as opposed like the first time you're learning things, so like everything's new and everything's difficult. But what's it like the second time around?
Yeah. Well, the second time is interesting, especially because we funded the first day. So our sort of like our whole mindset during the middle of the campaign changed, and it was more about like really trying to understand the community that supported us, figure out how to engage with that, and sort of use that to spread the word more. Whereas the first time around, it was more so just like we were just grabbing at anything we could, and we were just really trying to just be everywhere possible in
Right.
order to just show people that we exist. And I think our thinking has shifted also because like we're not as stressed, so we can actually go about it a little more strategically and a little more thoughtfully, because we're not like, oh my goodness, are we gonna make this, what do we have to do? And because it was so much more stress last time, so it feels more manageable, at least now, because we have a little bit of cushion. And at the same time, it's people like you who are learning about us for the first time. It's nice that we get to actually make meaningful connections with
Right.
a few people who are a part of the industry, who are talking to others, and we're getting a lot more of that, where it was before it was just us screaming as loud as we could, and now we actually get to, in a lot of ways, invest back and like be on people's shows and talk about things, and get to know them a little more, and all of that just feels way better than the first time.
What blows my mind is just hearing you talk about that and just realizing that like, and you're doing all this during COVID time. Like, all of that would be hard enough on a normal year. And I'm only
Yeah.
thinking like, how great is it going to be, because like you're missing out on all like the convention support of like having a booth with like a prototype and showing it off and all of that. Like you're doing great without having that additional backbone that most creators are dependent on to help get the,
Yeah.
and so just next year when it comes around and you do have those things, it's just, I feel like it's going to be amazing.
I'm feeling pretty good that, yeah, we were able to accomplish as much as we have so far without that. It's scary in a lot of ways. I now I'm so this year was supposed to be our convention year, right?
Yeah.
Like we released our first game, we finally had copies to sell, and we were going to be hitting all the conventions. And so I'm almost a little bit scared of doing that next year, not specifically because of COVID, a little bit because of COVID, but more so just because
you haven't
I'm
had that experience yet. Like it's a new
yeah,
thing you haven't done yet.
right. But I'm technically like an experienced designer,
Yeah.
but I've still never had that experience. So it feels like it's going to be this very odd thing for me to be in that place doing that for the first time, even though we've been around and we've sold games and made games. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I'm not. It's so much uncertainty now. I'm barely even thinking about it, but
Right.
we're hopeful we'll get at least a few good conventions next year. PAX Unplugged, that's what I think I want the most, just because that, to me, that feels like our home convention, because it was the first big convention that we ever went to, and it was the first year that they did it. So I've been to every PAX Unplugged technically so far.
Yeah.
So hopefully 2021 PAX Unplugged,
That's late enough in the year.
return home.
I think it's I think it's definitely the possibility. I think the early stuff is still going to probably be out. Like even Origins might be
I
kind
think
of
so.
pushing it. Gen Con's like the line where like this could still happen. Like,
It's just so big though. That
yeah,
would be
that's
my
the
like.
that's the
It's
only
It is
problem
the
is
hardest one.
it's so big, and that it's also so questionable. Like it's not a sure thing, so it'd be hard to do with all
Yeah,
these
because it's so big.
because it's so big, and like doing all that with the possibility that it might not happen, kind of thing.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm crossing my fingers for PAX Unplugged.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Have you done anything this year with any of the digital conventions that have been going around?
Yeah, I actually have been a tiny bit involved in quite a few. We've run demos at a few of those. I've done panels at quite a few of them, and a lot of that was trying to get the word out about
Right.
Hoop Gods. But I think more so it was just like I miss just being a part of the community, and like any way that I could kind of get some of that, I was happy to. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll I'll be involved in this because I've had much fewer opportunities, I think, because they haven't had as many conventions. Yeah, I just
Right.
miss my friends playing all
Yeah.
their games.
Yeah, this is like I will this is my soapbox piece is no virtual conventions cannot and will not until we're all wearing VR headsets. It's not going to replace a physical convention. But I think the year has shown us that I think there's still a place for them, even when we are back to physical conventions again. Because the
Yeah.
couple that I have participated in, I've talked like the people I've sat across while or sat virtually across, and just hearing people say like, I couldn't afford to go to Gen Con, or overseas people being like, it's too expensive to fly to the US or Essen or wherever, Canada for like the shucks.
Yeah.
It's too expensive for me to go, but I can do this. And so
that
Go
could
ahead.
even add for if so I've been hearing a lot of things with like people are getting married during COVID
Mhm.
and they set up a webcam and here guys attend my wedding.
Right.
You could potentially do that stuff for some like if there's a live game. You're like, oh, 6 people signed up for my game, 4 people are in person, 2 people are via Zoom.
Right.
So we've got these 2 people still sitting here at the table, kind of
That-
technically, maybe.
That gets a little hard, especially when you talk about like think about how busy you are running a booth at Gen Con. I would
Yeah.
the way I
Well,
would
no, I mean for more like the D&D games and stuff taking place in the
okay.
hotel, conference rooms and stuff. Like that kind of stuff. It is not outside the realm of possibility.
Right.
That's fairly true. I mean, at the very least for panels, that could be an option.
Oh yeah,
Like,
that's
if you
like
have somebody
Oh.
digitally.
that would be like the number one
contributing,
thing
yeah.
that needs to happen out of this is every convention needs to be figuring out ways to live stream all their panels. Set up several like E3 does it, or at least used to do it, like BlizzCon and them do it, where you just have like a
Yeah,
different
yeah.
stream for each room, and you have like a schedule, and it's like, okay, at this time, okay, if you need to charge people to do it, that's fine too. Where like BlizzCon had a
Yeah,
virtual
yeah.
ticket, it's like $50. I forget because it's been a while since I did it. Where it's like $50 and you get access to like all the panels. Nobody's saying you need to do this for free, but you could use YouTube
it's
and
true.
like unlisted videos and stuff, and you get access if you pay, like a $50 ticket or whatever. And then
At the very least, all these places have the infrastructure set up now because they had to do it. So hopefully,
Right.
that kind of thing can take off.
yeah. And here's the other thing. The other reason this is beneficial, where think about how many times you've missed a panel because you've been busy doing something else at Gen Con.
100 times.
With it, if you stream them all, then that means, hey, I don't have to actually go to that panel because I'm running a booth demoing my game or whatever it is, but I can watch it a week later when I'm crashing, in my couch home with Con Crud for a week and got nothing else to do. Yeah. But just that kind of thing. Some of the digital stuff, I feel like next year, like this year, everybody was time crunched for everything. It's like, we got to figure out how to do this fast.
Yeah.
But it's like,
Right
now we've got time. Let's figure out like other ways of doing this that we could still do. Like maybe we do a Gen Con online like a week or two later, and you can do a bunch of online events for all the people that couldn't appear at the show.
Yeah.
that sort
I
of
mean,
Not
in
only
general,
the-
though,
Yeah, good.
I think we'll just get a lot more content created from the organizations who put on conventions.
Yeah.
Because now they have these platforms that are like going to be more established, and so that I'm sure that will help just keep everybody connected to what they're doing and what's out there.
I mean, this has also probably led to a I mean, I'm sorry, I might jinx it, but this has probably led to a little bit of a better internet infrastructure overall.
Maybe.
Because
I don't
I
know.
want to say, I kind of want to say very early on, we discovered that, oh crap, the internet was not designed for everyone
Right.
to be on it at the exact same time.
Yeah, true.
No, I definitely know
Maybe some people are going to be at
Yeah.
work for a few hours and we'll have a break.
the internet was not made for everybody to be streaming Netflix at the same time. I don't know. I heard
Yep.
you heard a lot about that at the beginning of the pandemic, but you haven't heard as much now.
Yeah,
And I don't know-
think they're
I don't
they're
know if
going
that's
through and they're like beefing everything up.
there's that. I don't know how much, but see, you didn't really hear people talk about beefing that up. You would have think like companies would be promoting that to kind of a good PR thing. I don't know
I
if
think
it's
I
that.
saw AT&T talking about it a little bit.
X
I
is it
think
Xfinity? I use NBC streaming service Peacock, and
Uh-huh.
one of the commercials every once in a while is one of the big names talking about how they've gone through and like beefed up their
Gotcha.
infrastructure. They got the low income internet for those communities. They got the college internet. Like they're making sure these people can get serviced.
that's good. Super necessary.
Oh yeah. So that's any other thoughts you want to do before we move on to our game show? Thoughts and just where we'll circle back to where people can follow along for other things. But anything else you want to throw out there? Circling back to Hoop Gods. Just any last thing that if people haven't clicked their pledge yet, last thing
Yeah.
that you'd throw out.
No, just do it. Just go click the button.
All right. Well, before we get to our game show, I'm just going to do a quick plug for our Patreon page, patreon.com/boards and swords. Big, huge update that we sat down this past weekend, or was it? I don't even remember when it was now. Maybe it was a week ago, and we finally recorded the first section of our Tangled in the Slipstring RPG that is basically Firefly with cats, and you're only going to, well, I think the way I'm doing it between the COVID and everything going on and how long it took us to get everything done, the first session I'm going to put out on the mainstream for free, so that everybody can get it, even those that have dropped their pledges, so they can still get it. However, after that, you're only going to get the rest of that campaign. Any future recordings that we do will be if you go and back our Patreon, even for $1, you'll get access to that. And that should be coming out late. It'll definitely come out this month. It just took a while it was one of those, we had some audio issues, so I had to try and align things and correct things. So it was like an hour or two of work before I got into the actual editing of listening to it and editing the show. So, but yes, you're only going to get that if you go patreon.com/boards and swords. And with that, Philip, it's time for our favorite game show. Marvel Champions? What? No, not that. It is time for the Rank is Right. And
Rank is right.
I'm officially throwing a correction on here because we're going to change the rules because it always gets too hard to explain the rules. And so what it is for Omari and anybody else listening is BGG has this wonderful feature that you can click random game and it will just bring you up a random game. So what I've done is I have 7 games here where I've randomly hit a game until I got games that were actually ranked on BGG. So I'm going to tell you about the games. I'm going to tell you like the description, like weights, how long they play, that sort of thing. If they're ranked in any subcategories, that sort of thing. I'm going to ask you, what is its actual BGG rank? And it used to be we wanted you to get as close without getting too close to 1, but we're just going to throw that away and just do regular Price is Right rules. Closest without going over wins the match.
Okay.
So, Philip, you understand the change there?
I'm going to bid $1, Bob.
That's I mean, you can, but if he bids 2, then you're out of luck.
Yep, it happens.
So, Philip, you going to keep track in our show notes?
I will keep tracking the show notes.
Okay, so the first item up for bid, if you will, is we're actually doing Sid Meier's Civilization, the board game. This is a 7.4 on BGG. The average rating is the 2010 release. There's been a couple of different versions. 2 to 4 players, plays in 2 to 4 hours. 3.8
2 to 4 years.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. No, that's that African board game. That's like the. It was on Big Bang and it was on somewhere else. It's like the it's like some war.
Oh, I know it.
It's like the war in West
yeah.
Africa or something like that. It's like a game that legit takes like 30 days to play or something like that.
Yeah, I've seen it.
This is before you lies a bounty of land ripe for the plucking. Your meager beginnings will influence the paths you must take. Lead your people well, and they will take you to infinite heights of greatness. If civilization manages to endure the ages, your name will hang in every whisper of its legacy. This is the FFG release. And the strategy category, it was ranked 184. Philip, we're going to start with you since you've played this before. What is the overall rank of Sid Meier's Civilization, the board game?
I've played this.
No, you've played the game, the game show. Rank is right. You've played this
I've played
before.
the game show. Okay. I was like,
I'm having you start because you've done this game show before. I could.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I played the Bible.
I could probably convince you though that you have played it, even if you hadn't.
More than likely. All right. So, okay. So you said, what was the strategy category rank again?
184.
184. Sid Meier's Civilization,
2010
the board
game.
2010 from Fantasy Flight.
Mm-hmm.
Probably had a couple points knocked off because of punchboard stuff. I'm gonna go with let's just go with 800.
800. All right, Omari, you're up. You're up next.
What was the rating again?
The rating is a 7.4. That's the average rating, not the geek rating.
Yeah, that's the average rating.
Yep.
7.4. Okay, and it was 84 in strategy.
184.
184 in strategy. Okay. 2010. That date. I'm like, that gets games don't stay for that long very high. So I'm gonna give it 492.
492. And Philip, you said 800.
800.
800. See, this is the best part about doing it this way is I can go, you overbid both of you. So
wow.
the lowest one was 400. So it is in the top 400 of BGG rankings. So Philip, I'll let you try again.
I'm gonna go with that 350.
350. Okay. All right, Omari.
Well, if it's 184 in strategy, a lot of games in the top 400 are probably strategy games. So maybe it didn't drop that far. Let's give it a 231.
231. And Philip, you said 350?
350.
Oh man. This if this was like the Showcase Showdown, you would have been almost in that range of getting both showdowns. The actual rank of Sid Meier's Civilization is 245. So that's a point for Omari.
Woo!
Yeah, that's pretty surprising. But almost no, because if you know people that play Civilization, they love Civilization. Like, I've never played it, but I know about the game just because those people they're hardcore. Like they'll sit around and just play Civ at Gen Con. Like that's all they do is just play Civ. I think that's like there's the Mega Civ. I don't know if that uses this or if that's another set of rules or something. But so going from that to kind of like the opposite side of BGG, the other thing that the random game feature lets you know is that there is a crazy, ridiculous amount of war games on BGG. So this next one we have is Advanced Torbruck. Advanced Torbruck. It is a 2002 game from Critical Hit Incorporated and Kokusai Shushin Company Limited, I'm assuming. It is a so it's a re-implementation of a game called ATS Rulebook, but I'm trying to figure out where it actually talks about the description of the game. Because the description on BGG starts with, so what's new in the new Torbruck? Plenty. Okay. No, it only talks about so it's a World War II war game. It's a hexagon grid game, line of sight, modular board. Looks like it's in a series of games called the Advanced Torbruck system. That's where the ATS come from. Looks like it's set in Libya, based on the categories on BGG. 7.3 of the average rating. Weight is 4.19 out of 5. It's a 2-player game in 180 minutes. In the war category, it is ranked 575 in the war category. Omari, you're going to go, since you won that last one. What is the actual BGG rank of Advanced Torbruck?
575 in war games.
In war games.
All right, I think for this one, we're gonna put it at 789.
789. All right, Philip.
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with from 2002.
2002.
I'm gonna go with 900.
900. All right. Well, you definitely didn't overbid this time.
Okay.
The actual rating is a 4-digit number. It's 4,757.
Jeebus.
But technically, Philip, you were closest without going over.
Yeah, you were.
That's why I kind of like this revision to the rules, because it gives you that sense of like, holy crap.
Whoa.
So
wow.
That's
all right.
Point for Philip on there. So next game up is if the thing loads, there we go. Sorcerer King. This is a 1985 game.
I'm gonna go with 10,400.
2 to 6 players in 3 hours. It's a 2.67 out of 5. Published by Wutan Games. In this classic fantasy board game, players battle it out with each other in hordes of chaos creatures for controls of Pardus, and then to crown their nominee in the ancient throne room of the Sorcerer Kings. This is a second edition, apparently, that I pulled up from 1985.
First one come out in the
all right
50s or something.
So this is where you get a little bit of help, because remember the previous game was ranked 4,000 and it was ranked 575 in the war category. Well, this one is also ranked in the war category, but it's ranked 3,145 in the war category.
Oh, so my joking number is probably not that far out
Philip, what is your actual number going to be for your overall rank? This one's a 5. It's a 5.2. I forgot to say its overall rank.
It's wait, 5.2 is the what?
It's not overall rank. The overall rating, the average rating.
The rating. Okay, gotcha.
Got it.
I'm gonna go with 8,101.
I'm actually going to start writing these down so I don't have to keep asking. 8,101. All right. Yeah, 42 ratings, as Rusty Beetle points out in the chat room.
I'm gonna. Oof. Yeah, that's wow. Let's call it an even 10,000.
Even 10,000. All right.
I didn't even know the rankings went that high.
They apparently do. Philip, you should have stuck with your first number because the actual overall rank of Sorcerer King is 17,194.
So there are at least there are at minimum 17,194 ranked games.
Apparently.
On BGG.
Yep. So that's another
How
point.
many of those are Munchkin?
Oh, that's a good question. All right.
That's a great question.
So the next game that we have is actually one that we have reviewed on this channel. And that is the 2015 reprint of Council of Four from Simon. This is a game that favors of the council, even manipulate them to build your trading posts. 2 to 4 players, 40 to 75 minutes. Like I said, this is Simone Luciani and Danielle Tashini. 2.52 out of 5. Like I said, Simon. It's a hand management network and route building kind of game. In the strategy category, we talked about this before. It is 532 in the strategy category, average rating of 7.2. So, Omari, you want the last one. What is the actual rating of this version of the Council of Four?
Yeah, I played Spyfall.
Philip, I don't think you've played this.
No, I have not played this.
Huh. Interesting. Strategy 532.
Yep.
Feel like it's gonna be in the 700, 800 somewhere. Let's go with 802.
802. Philip, what's your guess?
I'm gonna go 700.
700. You all both are in the ballpark, but the actual rating of Council of Four is 1,004. So that puts Omari with another point. Starting to pull away there. Yeah, you were both. Those were both really good guesses. So, all right, we're getting down to the last couple here. Speaking of, actually, I'm going to cut the last one. So we're just going to do 2 more. This next one is another one of those weird war games that you just happen to run across. This is a 2007 game, Duel in the Dark. 6.6 on BGG, and my page just refreshed, so I lost all the info. 6.6 on BGG. 2007 game, 1 to 2 players, 45 minutes, 2.49 out of 5 on the weight. World War II air combat game depicting the nighttime air raids of British bombers hitting German cities. This is Z-Man Games. This is a Z-Man Games game from Pilot Games and Z-Man Games. This is rated in 2 subcategories. So it is rated in War. So remember that. War, it's rated as a 513. In Strategy, though, it's rated as a 1,079. So, Omari, you still have the lead here. What is the actual rating for Duel in the Dark?
Yeah, okay, cool. We'll go with 4,106.
All right, 4,106. Okay, Philip.
I'm gonna go with what year again?
2007.
2007. I'm gonna go with 7,193.
Ooh, you're gonna be shocked to hear this, but you both overbid. This
Oh.
is in
What?
this is in the top 4,100 games. So Omari,
Whoa.
back to you. Meanwhile, because we got asked, somebody asked, "What about Warhammer?" And I'm just going to assume Warhammer 40K 9th edition. For reference, this is ranked 7,039 on BGG. I'm guessing mainly because it just came out. The 8th edition was still loading. It was rated 2,800. So back to Duel in the Dark. So the lowest
Yikes, okay.
bid, which was still over, 4,106. Strategy 1,079. War 513. So what's your next bid, Omari?
Let's crank that up. Let's go 2,431.
2,431. Philip.
I'm gonna go 1945.
1945. All right. The actual rating is 2,264. So that puts
no.
yeah, split the difference,
Oh.
and Philip wins on that one.
Ah,
All right.
went too far.
Too far. All right. We'll make this one our last one. This one is called Ninja All-Stars. And this is like, it's got a very like chibi-esque kind of look to the box if you want to go look at it afterwards. This one is, it's in 2015 Ninja All-Stars. It's rated 6.3 is the average ranking on Facebook. Or excuse me, rating, if I can speak right. The average rating on Facebook. I'm screwing up because my Chrome keeps refreshing the page. 6.3 rating, 2 to 4 players, 2.67 out of 5 weight. This is from Soda Pop Miniatures in Ninja Division. Go figure. Same people behind like what's it called? Super Dungeon Explorer. And that was, yeah. Assemble your clan's mightiest ninja and compete for honor and glory in the annual Ninja Games. The moonlight casts a pale light over the battleground as you compete with your team, earn experience, gain skills, and battle rival ninja clans in this league campaign-style game. And somebody asked if this was a Kickstarter game. It was. It's listed under the crowdfunding Kickstarter campaigns. Theme Chibis, Theme Ninjas. It's a dice rolling grid movement game. And yes, so last one went to Philip. So Philip, this is your chance to come back now.
All right.
Ninja All-Stars. Give me it. There's no subcategories.
Ninja All-Stars.
So
Oh, no subcategory
you
at all.
got no help on this one. What's our
How about a year again?
The 2015. What's our score at right now?
2015. 3-2 Omari.
Oh, we'll make this double points then, just so we have a winner.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna go with 1,000.
1,000, even 1,000.
Even 1,000.
All right. All right, Omari. Last one.
Oh, yeah. I think it's farther out there. Let's say did I do anything in the 7,000s? No. Let's 7,443.
7,400 and what? 43?
And 43, yeah.
Okay.
Let's see what happens.
All right. You're going to hate yourself now because the actual ranking is 7,077. So that gives Philip the win with the 1,000 there. When you said 7, I was like, oh, and then you went 4, and I was like, oh, it's no good.
I was so excited because I have a shirt that says I am a ninja on it. I was like, I'm gonna get this one. I got
is that from the Ask a Ninja?
No, this was actually from one of those like Ninja Run. What do you call it? Like obstacle course things that I
Gotcha.
did.
I
Which
just
was
remember that
incredibly
it was like the
difficult.
theme song that was like, I am Ninja, he is Ninja. All right, I just dated myself a little bit there. Go ask your older millennials. That's like 2004 YouTube.
2004 YouTube.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, that's all we got there. So thanks, Omari, for coming on the show. Give you one last time to plug the Kickstarter and where people can find out for any other games that you guys have coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty easy to find. Our company, Board Game Brothas, BGBROTHAS, on all the social media platforms. If you just want to find me, I'm on Twitter. I'm easy to find. It's just my name, Omari Akil. Or if you want to check out my Twitch channel that I'm getting really started now, I'm Akilaverse on Twitch, and that's also my Steam account and all my other gaming related things. Is Akilaverse. And so board game Hoop Gods on Kickstarter right now. Get it, play some basketball, help us get those minis.
All right, Philip, roll that beautiful bean footage. Let's get out of here. Waiting for the music to start.
I'm pre-dancing in anticipation.
All right.
If you guys like this show, you are going to love the other podcasts that we sometimes like to goof off in. It's the Dirtbags of Holding. That's where we play all the best RPGs that people have made, and we completely mess them up for your viewing entertainment.
All right. If you have any comments or questions, you can send us feedback at boardsandswords.com. We are on social media. You can find us at facebook.com/boardsandswordspod and our official Twitter page at Boards and Swords. And I misread it last time. My new Instagram handle is at BoardsSwordsChris. BoardsSwordsChris on Instagram, because somebody won't give me Boards and Swords. And then Philip, you can find Philip on Twitter at Phil the Dirtbag. This podcast is also a part of Punchboard Media. For other great gaming shows and productions, make sure you go check out punchboardmedia.com. And thank you all for listening, for checking us out. Once again, go check out patreon.com/boardsandswords to help support the show. Normally we'd be back in 2 weeks, but we got knocked off a week, so we will be back next week with another show. In the meantime, remember that every gamer has a story. And I'm going to sip my Michael Jordan Super Secret Juice right now.
So appropriate.
For the record, I'm also dancing.
Can you actually hear the music this time?
What?
Can you actually hear the music this time?
Well, actually, I'm only getting it when you talk.
Oh, okay. Do I just need to be like, oh. Just talk,
Have
just
a
just
a low hum in the
no
background.
hum. Oh man, I gotta figure something out for that, because the idea is so that you guys can hear it as well. It must be. I'm assuming it's a Discord thing where it only picks up my voice and not the actual sound.
More than likely.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching. I'm gonna kill the stream now.